Once upon a time there was a girl with a long brunette hair, white pale skin, and big blue eyes, bright as the sky. Her name was Paulicienta. She liked to go for a walk through the big green trees, and used to live in a wonderful castle, surrounded by a lake full of fish. Everything was unique and beautiful, except the people that lived inside the castle. Her family was formed by two stepsisters and a stepmother, Beatriz, who became widowed because of the death of Paulicienta's father. After her dad's death, the mean Beatriz treated her as her servant, so Paulicienta was living a really awful nightmare. She had to deal with each action Beatriz or her stepsisters were against of. There was no one she could talk to, nor felt understood. Early in the morning, Paulicienta left the castle to go for a walk. She needed to feel more relaxed. She was really cute with the animals, so they gathered around her. At least there was someone she could be with now. When all the animals were leaving, only two mice stood with her and talked for a while. The two mice, Tom and Jerry, decided to move to live in the castle in Paulicienta's room. They needed to hide of the three monsters and the cat called Whiskas. The three monsters were the two stepsisters and Beatrice, the stepmother. Tom was really funny and liked to get the cat angry. On the other hand, Jerry was fat and lazy, but still he was Tom's best friend.
Day, a letter arrived to the castle. It was from the kingdom of Notre Dame, which announced the royal dance that will be in about a week. When Beatrice read the letter, she was so excited for getting her daughters dressed, and maybe one of them could have the fortune by getting married with the handsome prince. Santa was behind the door and heard about the royal dance. She wanted to go, but she knew that she wouldn't get a dress. She had no money or someone that could help her by lending or buying her a new dress, so she felt disappointed. When her stepsisters were making the dresses, Paulicienta noticed that they were leaving some fabric in the floor. After they finished, she took all the waste and took it to her room, but she did not know how to sew a dress. Tom had an idea with all the stuff Paulicienta brought up to her room. The day finally came, and all the young ladies were at the dance except for Paulicienta. The two stepsisters were ready and left. Paulicienta found a way to go to the dance. When Paulicienta was ready to go, she asked her fairy godmother to take her to the dance, but instead, she turned the pumpkin into a golden carriage, and her two mice into beautiful horses. Now everything was perfect. Paulicienta looked gorgeous as always, but this time she had way more happiness on her face than ever. Later, when the beautiful Paulicienta arrived and entered to the palace, all people there looked at her. No one of them knew who she was, but they were astonished with her beauty.
When the Prince Juan Carlito II saw her, he felt true love inside his soul and asked Paulicienta to dance. Of course, this young lady said yes, and they danced all night long. They both had the time of their lives. They had never experienced something like that before. They were just looking into each other's eyes and realizing that that person in front of them was the one they would like to spend the rest of their lives with. Until Paulicienta realized she had to leave because the spell would stop working at midnight, and if she was there when that happened, the prince would see that she was only a poor girl with a long and ugly dress. She ran as fast as she could, but when she arrived to her place, she realized two things. Her carriage was no longer a carriage, it was a horrible pumpkin again, and also she had lost one of her crystal slippers. At the palace, the Prince Juan Carlito II realized that she had accidentally left one of her glass slippers on the steps of the entrance of the palace. When he saw it, he ran around the huge garden to the entrance, looking for his beautiful lady, but he never found it. He was about to give up. He had a great idea. As he was the prince, he had the power to make every single woman of the kingdom to go to the palace and see if one of them was her beloved dance partner. And so he did. He didn't make the girls to use the shoe because that didn't make sense. I mean, if he truly fell in love last night, the least thing he could do was to remember her goddamn face, for God's sake. Anyway, as soon as he saw her in the middle of all the girls, he immediately recognized her and ordered all the girls to leave because they were ugly. And like it was logical, he married her because dancing for 3 hours is more than enough to decide whether or not spending the rest of your life with someone. And so they got married. And as soon as she was a princess, she made her stepmother and her two daughters her personal assistants. She didn't have a revengeful heart. She only wanted them to know what it was like to be treated as a piece of trash, so they could learn a little of humbleness and become better people. Once they did, Paulicienta told them they could freely leave the castle and continue with their lives, but now as different human beings. The years flew by and Paulicienta and her prince had like 10,000 babies. Well, not that much, but they were like five and they were still a lot. Anyway, the point is that they lived happily after forever and ever. The end.